Curn, wait, where are you again?
I'm in the Chick-fil-A drive-thru line. About to get my goodies.
What are you getting, Curn? What's the order?
2 spicy chicken sandwiches, 4 ranches, French fries. You know the drill.
Any drink?
Water. Keep
Water?
it fresh.
Okay. Some people swear by Chick-fil-A lemonade or tea. I didn't know if you had a horse in
Wow,
that race.
the lemonade there is very good.
That's what I'm saying. There's some people that stay loyal, so I didn't know.
So I'm going to join y'all for a little bit while I just snack on this before I head home.
Okay.
It's a good time to get some action. So, yeah, please. Thank you. Down to that package secured.
That's good, Curn. That's
yeah, we're loaded.
It's important to have sustenance for this level of intellectual thought. Now, let me ask you this, Curn. As a Saints fan, how are you feeling about the game tonight?
Whew. It's they're inducting Drew Brees into the Saints Hall of Fame. You got Sean Payton back home. It's a lot of emotions, ANF. I don't know. It's a big night for just like the Saints lore, I guess. I'm not too excited about how injured our team is as a whole. So it's not a great, you don't want to use that as an excuse, but overall, without going into it, I don't know. I'm kind of having flashes of like Bo Nix just carving us fuck up, and that's going to be embarrassing to hear, Al Michaels go, oh, and Bo Nix is just put his good touchdown. Oh, he's really just ripping it up his rookie year. And I have to hear all that, and then we have to go to like, flashes of like Bo Nix in college and like see all the fucking animations and stuff. Like I just, I'm just kind of visually getting ready for it.
Okay.
Now, the real matchup of the weekend, Packers-Texans. Do you have a prediction for us for that game?
Is that in Lambeau?
Yes, sir, it is in Lambeau.
Ooh, that's tough. Tough draw. Packers are playing some ball, dude. Jordan Love is addicted to throwing touchdowns. He can't stop throwing touchdowns. He throws so many touchdowns. I don't know if I can predict the actual score or spread, but I don't know. And I think this round in Lambeau, I mean, maybe they'll make maybe in the Super Bowl rematch it's different, but I think I'm gonna give it to Lippy and the boys in Lambeau, home court, in the icy cold. It's probably cold up there,
It's actually going to be 73 degrees on Sunday.
Really? Damn.
It's going to be actually down. Up, we're up to 74 and sunny. It's going to be a lovely day, and the Superdome looks really good right now on Thursday Night Football.
Here's my question: Is Drew Brees contractually obligated to wear a waiter shirt as he goes out to be inducted into the Superdome Hall of Fame or whatever?
Maybe he's gonna say something pretty cheesy, and he's gonna do a Drew Brees thing. He's a typical baby face. Typical baby face. Gotta do some cheesy shit and like make the kids laugh. So he'll probably do something. He'll probably go like obnoxiously go hug Sean Payton and like get it all off, but like he'll do it.
Curn, one follow-up question: How old is Cam Jordan, and is it closer to 60 than it is to 30?
God. Cam Jordan might be my age. I don't know.
So
it might be the same age.
It is closer to 60 than 30. Good to know.
I remember because King Hoot went to Cal. For those who don't know, and I distinctly remember.
Wow, let's go Bevo.
I remember when we got Cam. King Hoot was just like in a roar. He's like, "Oh, fucking pick of the draft! We're so stoked! I fucking love it! I can see him all over our campus, like it's awesome." So that was always some cool, So that was like right when we were in college. So I'm pretty sure he's like a little older than me, if anything.
Okay.
Aaron, is your mic set up a wrist walkie-talkie?
He's using cans tied together with string in the Chick-fil-A parking lot.
Curn, it sounds like you're a caller into a radio show, and it's fantastic.
I mean, I think it's really nice ambiance. Really, I actually quite
it is a
enjoy
nice touch.
Yeah,
it sounds like you're a scuba diver.
I mean,
are we getting a return? Wow.
I'll tell you the order, Bevo. I got 2 spicy chicken sandwiches, 1 of the meal, so I get the fries. I got 4 ranches and a thing of water. Pretty clean Chick-fil-A order.
Did you get the avocado lime? dressing too?
No, you
Or
know what's
just
fucked up?
they don't let you
told me
do that
here-
anymore?
They told me here that, at least at this location, I've gone 3 times to 3 people to ask if they do not let you have it unless you order a salad. They said they specifically now have the avocado lime, but they're packed with the salad, so we can't get them. And I was like, look, I'll pay you like $5 to pack that shit. Like it's like crack.
I
like
really
will
like
happily
that you
buy-
asked 3 times at the same location. Just wanted to
Curn,
know.
I can confirm the wife says that dressing is absolutely the best dressing to ever exist.
Yeah, and I feel like everyone caught on to it, and then I guess that's why they, at least here, they put a cap on it. It's fucking communist Russia, and I don't know what the fuck is, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I fucking, not gonna sell for buttermilk ranch, like, it's fine, but it doesn't remotely hold a fucking candle to it.
Do they have a mile, like the number of feet in a mile on the front of their helmets?
5280.
for Mile High Broncos,
Jesus H, man. That is so fucking stupid. Oh my god.
Wow, we got Timo for back-to-back pods. This is lovely.
Oh, welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. Yeah.
Glad I could join.
Well,
We're talking about avocado lime dressing from Chick-fil-A.
yeah.
Why do you sound like you're talking through like styrofoam right now?
Oh, come on, man. Everyone's hating on Mike.
It's fucking
What,
Boomhauer from
Mike?
King
It
of the
sounds
Hill.
like you ate your mic.
Yeah, I can
Well,
see.
I was in the middle of a pretty big Chick-fil-A bite when I was talking, but yeah, I'm in the car.
That's Troy Franklin. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. So we are entering week 7. Week 7 Thursday night football just kicked off with Broncos at the Saints, where famous waiter delivery driver Drew Brees will be inducted into the Saints Hall of Fame. And let's real quick. Does anyone have any, before we get into matchups and teams, does anyone have any overarching thoughts of the league as a whole right now, or anything they'd like to get off their chest or discuss before we get into the nitty-gritty? Bodix keeps running for first downs.
Alexander, I gotta say, you're like 20 seconds delayed right now. But as I've said before to a few people, we have 3 massive matchups this week in Apex. Obviously, as Timo knows, Timo versus myself, 2 4-win teams. Curn versus Golly, a 4-win, a 3-win team. And then you have Bevo versus Goon back, 2 4-win teams. Just some massive matchups we got cooked up this week. Alexander, you as the only 4-win team that's facing a losing record squad, you have a big matchup yourself to try and keep pace with everyone else.
Just secure the 5th win. Yeah. It's a good week for football. I kind of doubt this will be a good football game in the NFL that we're watching, but some great matchups here. I guess
Yeah, this is some real degen shit tonight. It's
Yeah.
rough.
That was a tough throw by Bonix there.
I guess we can go ahead and get into it. While we've got Curn here before his batteries go out in his walkie-talkie, let's go ahead and have him break down the matchup between him and Golly. Now, Curn, you're sitting at 4-2. You're playing Golly, who's 3-3. Looks like you've currently got Drake May slotted in at quarterback. Talk us through your matchup and what your expectations are for the game.
Well, Lil Jihad is over here. He's sneakily got like, I don't know. I'm gonna go over my skis here, but he's got a very good wide receiver core. They're facing a lot of if you're assuming you'll see a lot of green matchups for his wide receivers, which would indicate good times. And he's got Ingram back, which is good for him. I'm all about him starting Ty Chandler versus Detroit. That really gives me the warm and fuzzies. And I like that I have one of his wide receivers as quarterback's throwing too, so that's great. It's gonna be close, ANF. It's gonna be real close. I got a lot of real good matchups on wide receivers. If you zoom in, you see a lot of green there too. I am enjoying the streaming QB run right now. I was talking to Lippy a little bit about it. It's like really, really rewarding to stream a random quarterback get on waivers and they drop like a ton of points. I've done it 2 or 3 times now, and it's been pretty nice. So I don't know if I'm gonna stick with Drake May, but it seems like anyone who plays Jacksonville just has an absolute ball. And this dude threw 3 touchdowns versus Texans last week. So, I mean, like things could be worse. I don't know. It's going to be close. I think we could pull it out, though. I think Giot is a fucking fraud, and I think we're going to pull it out. Staying right here.
So I actually just real quick to comment. I think Drake May, Libby and I talked about this, had some great throws and looked really good. I will say 2 of those touchdowns did come in garbage time, but I completely agree. He is going to do a great job against Jacksonville. That team, boy, that team's real bad. Now, Curn, let me ask you this. Initially, you were a little critical of O'Galley, and there was some pushback on this show by individuals that didn't want to appoint him as a Tier 2 team. Are you willing to give him that respect now, or are you not there yet?
So, I like to give myself credit, as I like to do. And as you know, I remember saying in the beginning when we were hating on Golly's team kind of universally, before we knew he had all these little toys, I was saying, look, he's got the scariest shitty team that we've seen. And I put my bank on him doing well.
Right. It was very brave of you to place him at team number 10.
That
was very bold of you.
It's very bold. Obviously, bold takes everywhere. But no, I think he's firmly a Tier 2 team. He's contending. He's got enough wide receiver power to really fuck us down. Blake Neighbors is going to remind everybody why he's a dog, and Evan Ingram looks like he's a target hog, and all he needs is Jalen Hurts to get a little better. And if Gibbs stays healthy, I mean, he has no running back depth, but like in this day and age, you need a lot of running back depth. I mean, I've looked at several teams that don't have running back depth that seem to be doing just fine. If he loses running backs, he can probably do a sneaky trade with one of his arguably 3 wide receiver ones. I don't know. So I mean, I think he's up there. I'm definitely, I'm talking a lot of shit, but like I could definitely see a world where he sends me fucking, I'm on call me this up by 20 points, and I'm just, watching Drake May throw three picks at 10 in the morning. So any man's game.
Well, I think that's pretty fair. Does anyone else have any comments on this matchup? I'm going to kind of close it out as we move to the next one. So anyone else have any comments about Curn's team, Golly's team, this matchup or its implications, or any of the players involved?
I have a question. Like, what's worse? It's bigger than football / good game from Golly as early as possible, or one from Lippy? What does the group think?
No, Lippy.
It's Lippy.
Lippy's mind games are second to none. It's not even close.
Yeah, I fully expect the Lippy fuck magic as early as possible.
Yeah, it's not good for the psyche. But I mean, Golly is definitely a student of that discipline.
Let's just be honest here about Golly's squad for a second. His he is still a Tier 3 team. He's in the hunt. He is not a contender. Until he can get 2 games over 500, you can't call him a contender when he has to face Curn. Then he has to face Curn. Then he faces Timo's amazing team. Then he faces Alexander. Sure, he faces Neal, but Golly's got buys at some point with 1.5 running backs. Then he faces me, Hunter, Timo, and then Cornman. Golly will just hover around 500 all year. He's never going to actually be a contender. He can just stay in the hunt. So Tier 3 is very fair. Tier 2 is very premature here. He's had a nice couple weeks. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. And that should have been a pick by Rattler. Wow.
Wow.
Oh man.
I kind of like Golly's team. I think it's a Tier 2 team, and
liking a team and being realistic about the fact it's just in the hunt and it's not a contender is
I'm about 15 seconds behind. I can't believe that wasn't a pick. But yeah, I don't know. It obviously some things have to go his way, but sometimes things just go people's way. I mean, that's how Curn got a win last week. You just get lucky breaks, and that's the way fantasy football works.
Oh yeah, big luck.
Let's move on to a matchup with a real with a real mover and shaker, and what a team that has really struggled all year. Let's look at KHoles and Dustin's matchup. KHoles' team seemingly rising from the ashes to absolute prominence with some very, very nice scores in his weeks, with some players that are really going pretty buck wild. Let's real quick focus, and not to get it out of the way, that sounds quite rude, but does anyone have any hope for Dustin in this matchup before we move on to KHoles' side? He does have Josh Allen, who just got Amari Cooper. He has Tank Dell, who's playing without Nico Collins. He looked hyper-involved last week. He's got Demario Douglas, who looked great with Drake May. Anybody ready to say that Dustin could pull an upset here?
Not without CeeDee Lamb.
Okay. Yeah, because he is on bye.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good on that player.
KHoles should stay rolling. When he doesn't have, he's losing a lot of firepower without CeeDee Lamb. And
the Bills, Josh Allen's played against Tennessee. That team fucking sucks. They just let go of Jamal Adams today. Their defense is already terrible to begin with. They've got an absolutely lost quarterback on the other side of the ball. I mean, this could just be an absolute drumming, and Josh Allen could end up with a zillion points. Whereas on the other side, Patrick Mahomes is playing San Francisco. You've got some nice matchups over here. The reason Curn was excited about Drake May, there's a lot of reasons to be excited about Demario Douglas. I don't know. I think this could, and actually, I'm gonna call this one. I'm gonna predict a Dustin victory here. This looks like a ripe upset.
The best part is you're gonna predict a Dustin victory, and then you're gonna put KHoles in tier 2 still.
That's not happening. It's not happening. But let's get to KHoles. Curn, while we've got you here and your rattly can of marbles that you speak through, what is your analysis of KHoles' team right now and going forward?
Oh man, were we wrong about DeAndre Swift? That dude is just out of nowhere. It's like you see this 3 weeks, and the next 3 weeks, it's like, what the fuck happened? Granted, you play Carolina and Jacksonville, you kind of have to pump up some of those numbers a little bit, but still impressive overall to get that. But I mean, he's kind of in the same RB scarcity boat right now. Like just as a bias towards Zach Moss, I think Zach Moss is kind of an asshole, and so he's just kind of stuck with Derrick Henry and Swift, which you could be stuck with worse. Derrick Henry appears to be the RB1 again. He just can't stop the dude. I like his wide receivers. I'm a fan of his team. I think it's a scrappy team that, when fully healthy, if he's got the full lineup, it's. We've seen it. He's put up like 2 or 3 back-to-back 120-point games. It's like he just seemingly beats the shit out of teams, or so it's definitely not one to scuff at. I think he's I don't know. He was in tier 2 for me. I'm gonna stick by him and say he's still in tier 2. I think he's a strong, scary team that if things go right for him, he avoids those RB injuries. He will have bye weeks with his RBs, which is tough, but I think he's got enough bang with I don't like seeing Hopkins there in the flex spot, but I mean, like
what about Josh Downs?
I mean, I like it better without Gumpy there, but he's like banged up.
What about Zach Ertz?
Zach Ertz isn't great, but I mean, he's got Cole Kmet who's balling out, and apparently Hawkinson's coming back. Like, look, it's not tier 1 team, but it's I'd say a middle to low end tier 2.
What about Patrick Mahomes, who's barely broken 20 a single time this year?
Yeah, dude, how about that? I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, they're just playing. Kansas City just seemingly is able to play like just conservative, like just fuck you down with our underrated defense football and just win games. I mean, they don't have to do a whole lot. It's most effortless.
And they're undefeated. And they're undefeated, and he's barely broken 20 a single time.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they need to change anything? All of these receivers got traded. How many of them go to Kansas City? 0. None. And that's fine. It's not like that. I mean, the Chiefs are a great team. I'm not saying, oh my God, the Chiefs completely blundered the trade deadline, or what are they doing, not trading for these players? They don't need to. There's no need for that. They don't need to. They're undefeated. They are going to continue winning lots of football games, and that comes at the expense of Patrick Mahomes' fantasy, which I do not think Mr. Reed and Mahomes care too much about. So yeah, I have been, not going out of my way, but I think a vocal critic of this team as people have been rising on this team, and I'm not going to put him in tier 2. I don't mean that to be rude, just intentionally, KHoles. It's just I think this team, while it's got some awesome pieces that can go crazy, it's got a lot of pieces that really give me a lot of pause. So I'm at tier 3 now. I am. There's no way.
Yo, what the fuck?
Could possibly stick
tier
at tier
3?
4. There's no way I could possibly stay at tier 4. So this is one of those little nudges I'll give it. But yeah, I can't go to tier 2. I think this team has so many
Kevin
problems.
has the third most in points for, the second most touchdowns scored for starting players in the entire league.
Okay.
He scored the top 3 weeks. Sorry. He is in the top 3 of scoring for the past 3 weeks. The only other person to do that is a team that we have all unanimously said was the number 1 team in the league in Hunters. He's matching metrics put by that, and you're nudging him into tier 3. This is a firm tier 2 team. Firm.
I just don't see that. We've got such a crazy, we've got Zach Moss, Hopkins, Josh Down, and Zach Ertz starting here.
All of that is happening because he has his key players on bye.
His key players are on bye. DeAndre Swift is on bye. I am not going to point Cole
RB1.
I am not going to say Cole Kmet is a key player. I'm just not there.
You verbatim argued that the reason that Caleb Williams sucks is because he's throwing to the third highest tight end in Cole Kmet.
He's got that as a weapon. Yeah, I'm not saying he's an elite fantasy weapon. I'm saying it should have made him a better quarterback. I'm not saying Cole Kmet's an elite fantasy weapon. Are you saying that?
Is the tight end? Cole Kmet is the tight end 3 this year.
Oh man, it's a crapshoot, man. Are you saying that's going to stick? There's no way. There's no way. And obviously, if you're KHoles, you have to be happy about Cole Kmet's performance thus far. But that's not something that's going to stick at all.
Alexander, you have to be realistic here, though. He has scored over 120 points for 4 straight weeks. You, who you've claimed to be a tier 1 team every single week,
that's correct,
has scored 120 points once. He's done it 4x your total.
That's why I'm nudging him up to tier 3, because he's got the boom power.
God damn.
It's just true.
Such disrespect.
These rankings cannot change that much. They are not allowed to change.
Little nudges, and that's what we're doing. We're giving a little nudge here.
You have broken in the hunt with your 4 dominant performances.
That's what I'm saying, and that's well deserved. That's well deserved. That is.
I had him as the 4th best. I was ready to stamp him in there. I think I don't know. And that was only because Zach Moss seemingly was doing all right. But I think he's still there though. I mean, I don't know. I mean.
Now, if KHoles rolls out Patrick Mahomes every single week, that is going to be concerning because Mahomes is not a good fantasy quarterback anymore.
What do you mean if? What do you mean if?
He's got to stop doing it at some point. He's done it 5 out of 6 weeks.
So if he keeps doing what he's obviously going to do because it's Patrick Mahomes, then it's a problem? Newsflash, it's going to happen.
Every week, I feel like.
What do you mean if?
You're going to have to start him. Yeah, I mean,
Surely
we're going to get a vintage. Surely we're going to get real soon. We're going to get a vintage reminder Mahomes game where he throws 4 touchdowns. Huh?
No,
surely it's coming. I feel
it's not.
I mean, I think that is a disservice to Mahomes' managers.
Right.
I think that would be the worst thing that could happen. Because
then
you're I have to keep starting him forever.
Yeah, you're just playing this game of when is it going to happen when you've got Kirk sitting on your bench and he just broke the Falcons' receiving record last week or passing record last week. I don't know.
That's true.
You're just gonna be waiting on it every week, and it might not happen. It might happen once. Who knows?
It might happen twice.
All I can
Hell, it
say
might
is
happen 3 times, and then you're going to be dealing with
right.
15 points every other week.
Damn, but he does
We're-
have Kirk against the Seahawks. Just
Right.
a little advice,
Right.
K-Hole.
I once again am asking, why is Dalvin Cook still on his roster?
That's a great question, Timo. I don't know.
For the second pod in a row, I'm asking, why does KHoles still have Dalvin Cook?
Well, it looks like he got past his illness 13 days ago.
I think J. Cole had.
That has yet to translate into a carry.
Or even an elevation from the practice squad.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's kind of the one.
He's scoring more than I am, so I can't say anything.
He's scoring more than I am too, and that's awesome. Like, these tiers are just like my estimation of what's likely to happen. Not like, oh, these are this is what the results are. They're just estimations of what's going to happen with the pieces available that are in the lineups.
That's kind of what you'll get with K-Cole. Just like the roster, the roster management needs to be a little better. I mean, I look at you look at Dutsy's teams that they really just draft and they play their lineups, but they're not going to generally looking at waivers the way we do.
I mean, he's made some good waiver moves though. He's made some good waiver moves.
Dustin's made 2 moves all season. First of all, he picked up Wicks, and I don't know what the other was.
Well, I was saying K-Cole's made some good waiver moves.
Oh, okay.
Is what I'm saying.
But what Dustin has done is he's had every single person I thought, wow, I bet they're not rostered by a team. Like when Roshan Johnson might have been something a couple weeks ago. I was like, there's no way someone has this guy rostered. And then Dustin's had him rostered since the damn draft.
That's a fine draft piece, Dustin. That's a fine draft piece. Let me ask a tough question, and I don't mean this to be rude or offensive, but sitting at 1-5, is anyone bold enough to not have Dustin at tier 4?
Oh, was that a fumble? Yeah, he's in tier 4, 100%.
I apologize, Dustin. Hopefully, we're all wrong and you start kicking ass.
It's good analysis.
Let's move on now to one of those marquee matchups we were talking about. The matchup between Bevo himself and the mortal, now bleeding god, Dr. Goon. A surprising loss last week to a still CMC-less Jonah. Lippy, we had all but decided that, and I think everyone else as well had all but decided that Hunter was in a tier all by himself. Lippy, do you find that changing after last week's loss?
It doesn't even have to do with last week's loss. Just go before even last week. In week 5, he scored bottom 4 in the league and won. He got lucky as hell. 2 weeks before that against Jonah, he needed 45 points or whatever from Joanna Jennings, and he won by 2 points against Jonah. There is no reason this guy should not be 2-4 right now, just begging to win out. We're acting like he's the best squad in the world, and I mean, it's probably Timo's team. But we can get to that later. This is an easy Bevo dub this week. I mean, we can just lock it up. Camara,
These are the worst. These are the worst mind games. I'm not even playing you, Lippy. Relax.
Oh yeah. No, I know.
Lippy, will you make this your lock of the week for Jack?
I would guarantee. Bevo's got 2 RB1s in Bijan and Monty. I mean, Sutton might still outscore Camara, and Sutton's going to score 3 points tonight. Garrett Wilson, okay, that could be better. But the rest is very good, though. I mean, Bevo's going to win. Simple as that.
Now, we'll let Bevo have the last word on this matchup and his team. I lost to this team. This is one of my 2 losses. I lost to Hunter's team. So I have to say this before and preface what I'm about to say with that, but I will say I am quickly cooling on this roster as well. It is very possible that just maybe the absolutely blistering, 2 of 3 games that Saquon started with may not be prescriptive for the rest of the year. It might be possible he's not going to drop 30 points every week. It's entirely possible that Lippy traded him away at the perfect time. That is within the cards here. You add in a really weird situation with all of these San Francisco players that I think added to the mystique of this team, and you've got kind of a. I mean, to be completely honest, and I'm not trying to be hurtful or hateful here, but I mean the bench is ugly. The bench is ugly.
Mm.
And that's all the while we're starting Christian Kirk and Brian Thomas, who I think Brian Thomas is fucking dope. I think he is a badass dude and is going to be a lit receiver in this league for many years. I don't know about starting him and Christian Kirk every week.
Evan Ingram just came in and just demanded 12 or just demanded 10 targets after coming back from a strained hammy.
Yeah, I think that could spell trouble for Christian Kirk. Right as Christian Kirk was kind of getting those big bulk targets in the middle, I think Ingram might be eating those right back up from him. So I think this. Not to mention, is there lingering trouble with James Cook? Is Ray Davis entitled to more work after his good performance? What was thought to be, by me, perhaps more than anybody, an unquestionable, far and away separated tier of its own team, I think this might be. I still think a tier 1 team, but definitely it's come back down to earth a little bit, at least as far as I'm concerned. Does anyone else have any thoughts on that or comments on Hunter's team?
I think we should get Bevo's thoughts on Jaden Daniels officially on the pod. As a check down merchant that he is.
That's a great idea. Before we say anything else, Jack, you're kind of a quarterback expert of sorts. What are your thoughts on Jaden Daniels 6 weeks through the season?
Like Jaden Daniels, I traded away Terry McLaurin today because I did not think that would be sustainable for the rest of the year. Okay. So I had my questions, but very positively surprised from what we thought coming into the season. I don't think I was ever on the Andy Waters side of things where I would compare Bryce Young to Jaden Daniels.
Right. You'd have to be really silly to do that.
Correct. I would not have been so bold to claim that Jaden Daniels would be a QB1 in fantasy before the year.
Yeah.
Very surprised. But
I think that's a very, very measured response.
I think it is more likely that Jaden Daniels fizzles a little bit more throughout the rest of this schedule than continues to elevate his level of play, is my current take on things. Like if you said, hey, does it get better or worse? Like I think probably marginally worse, not significantly worse. I'm not predicting a fall off the cliff. I'm predicting a plateau / slow downhill trot for the rest of the year.
Let me definitely don't see it dropping this week against Carolina.
That is a very good point. Let's see here.
He runs the ball too frequently for him to fall. I think anyone who runs the ball that much, Justin Fields is not nearly as good as this dude, and just because he rushes the ball 5+ times a game, I think you still need to throw him in QB1 consideration. So I don't think he'll fall outside being a QB1. But granted, having a QB1 isn't the hardest thing in the world in a 12-man league. But I think he'll still be an every week starter for Hunter. I really like him a lot. I thought about I might actively try to get this dude on my team now that I've leaned into this Terry thing. Just because. And granted, I told Bevo this the whole. They shredded past funnel defenses the first 6 games. It's very clear, and then they play Chicago, Pittsburgh, Philly, Tennessee. They play some tougher, defenses. I guess on for fantasy purposes. I guess
But
I'm not going to let you get away with putting Tennessee in that sentence, but continue.
They have a big red here. Teams don't do well in them. Maybe because they just beat the Chevs.
They have a big red here.
It says red. It says red.
It's got the big
Willie
red.
Snead's good at football.
Let me ask y'all a quick question. And this is going to be some either ors for the rest of the season. Now that we'll start with the other player on his roster. Would you rather, if you just had to plug him in your lineup for the rest of the year, would you rather start Jaden Daniels or Brock Purdy?
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. For sure.
What about CJ Stroud?
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
It's closer, but Jaden.
I mean, if he's on my squad, I'm picking Stroud there. He's not on my squad, so I don't have to make that decision.
It's the rush.
Want him on
Yeah,
your
the mobile left
squad?
side.
No, I don't. Okay. What about Josh Allen?
I've seen comparisons where people are actually saying they would prefer Jaden Daniels over Josh Allen this year.
I think that is horrific.
That's crazy. I would take Josh Allen a million times. He's so good.
So
I think Allen will correct, but I understand the argument.
So Josh Allen is currently the QB5, and CJ Stroud is the QB7.
So I thought you don't care about what they've done. You care about where they're going to be.
No. I'm just asking for y'all for the purposes of this discussion.
Josh Allen is the QB1. He just gained an X wide receiver too.
Excuse me.
Josh Allen for me is the overall QB1.
Okay, that wasn't one of the questions.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I thought you were getting at with ranks.
It's not at all. It's not at all because Lamar's the QB1, so none of that matters. Would you rather start Jaden Daniels or Baker the rest of the year?
Jaden Daniels.
Baker's the actual QB1 right now. Is it unanimous, Jaden?
I don't think many people would put Baker in the top 9 rest of the season.
Okay, that's really interesting. Would you rather start Baker or Purdy for the rest of the season?
Purdy
probably just because of the offense.
I would take Baker there. What are you talking
Baker's got a tough next 3 or 4 games, but I haven't looked at Purdy's schedule.
That's crazy, you guys. That's crazy.
Looking at the QBs, ANF, I think I'd rather only start Josh Allen and Lamar over Jaden Daniels.
And Jordan Love, but yes.
I do like Jordan Love. I mean, but just the rushing, but I get it.
Most touchdown passes in the league. I mean,
there's a lot of touchdown passes, but but Jaden Daniels can run 2 touchdowns in a game. Oh, it's so juicy.
I mean, golly, really should sell.
Curn, just a quick question for you. If you had to guess, without looking it up, how many more touchdowns does Jaden Daniels have, rushing and passing combined, than Bo Nix right now?
Oh, it's going to be some embarrassing number, huh? Does Bo Nix have a lot of touchdowns?
He has 5.
Okay.
5 passing, 3 rushing.
Jaden Daniels has to have at least 5 more.
No, he has 1 more of each.
Are you serious?
He has 6 and 4.
Damn.
And Jaden Daniels has one of the highest first read target rates in the entire league right now. Granted, it's working. Do you guys remember Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona? First 2 months of the year, just gangbusters, and then they suck. And everyone thought it was Kyler. What if it's Cliff? What if it's Cliff's first read offense gets figured out after a couple weeks?
We'll get to Kyler in just a second, but I mean,
what if it's Cliff? What if it's Cliff?
I mean, it's very possible. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how you can start him over Baker rest of season. I don't know. I'm a big Baker fan. That's probably just me being biased. I think he's awesome, and I think
ANF, go get Baker then, and then play
I don't
him
need
every
Baker.
single game.
I have Lamar.
Get him.
Lamar is the QB1. I don't need Baker. I mean, if we live in a dystopia and Curn gets his super flex wishes, then maybe
Jaden's just so good at throwing deep passes. He did it all through college too. It's just such a pretty deep ball.
Wait, what? So are all of the guys we're talking about. What? Just stop.
No, but it's so pretty.
Oh
ANF.
my god, you're.
It's like a bread basket. It's a bread basket with sourdough starters,
spicy chicken brain or something right now. Okay, let's get back to the Hunter and Jack matchup, and let's talk about the Jack side of things. Jack's side of things is pretty good. I will say Courtland Sutton is not helping out in this first half so far, but I love Baker Mayfield, so ergo I love Chris Godwin. This is a solid squad. Jack's got a firm tier 2 team in my estimation, and I think if I were to predict it, just given the matchups and what I'm looking at here, I'm going to go ahead and say I would predict Jack to win this matchup. And I'd like to apologize for all of Goon Empire that listens to that, but it's just, you can't change the facts. And the facts is Jack's going to win this game. Jack, is there anything you want to say about your squad, your beliefs or thoughts about your team moving forward, or anything else that is related to this matchup?
Yeah, I'd like to start with a real, suck my dick to everybody that ranked me dead last after the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
So, I mean, it was certainly helped. Like, I got very fortunate with the Lippy trade of the Garrett Wilson swap around and the timing of things. But, like, still, Garrett Wilson is wide receiver 1. We'll see what happens with Devontae Adams. I happen to think that that's going to be a good thing. Chris Godwin is wide receiver 2.
All right,
got 2 RB1s. I've got Stroud just, like, running over hose. Like,
all right, I like
it's
that
pretty
part.
good. It's pretty good. I like it. I hate my tight end still. Everybody said that was a bad thing, so it still sucks. All that being said, yeah, that's about where I'll start. And then, I hope I get a win this week. I happen to think that Hunter's got some fantastic matchups. I think that sleep matters. So the Jags are probably going to eat on the Patriots defense. I think that that's a good thing for BTJ and Christian Kirk. I think that Kelsey being on bye last week was a unfortunate thing for Hunter's ability to score, kind of masked his team's true ability. James Cook not being there last week also, masks what Hunter's ability to score is. So those 2 players coming back, plus his wide receivers having a pretty good matchup this week, I'm not going to call this a win for myself. I happen to think that I'm an underdog, as Sleeper would call me to be. But, I think it's a competitive squad. I'm going to put myself / I have myself in the, the tier 2 of things. I think that's the tier where I've got to get lucky with injury. And if I do, I'll find myself in the playoffs. If not, then I get to miss out on the playoffs, but I've got a competitive team.
I do have to say one thing after looking at Jack's little schedule he has.
Are we going to talk about the Garrett Wilson comments?
Who cares? It doesn't matter. Jack is blessed with his schedule. He could lose this week. He could lose next week to KHoles. He's still probably making the playoffs. He faces a Jonah team with a ton of buys. He faces Monstar. Who cares? He faces Dustin. Who cares? He faces Curn with buys. And then he faces ANF with 80% of his team gone in week 14. And then he has Neil again.
Oh, wait, you get the week 14 matchup? Oh, you lucky dog. That's not a good week for me.
I mean, Bevo's got 8 wins guaranteed on his roster. He needs to sneak away 1 more win somehow. And, I mean, that's easy in a couple I mean, Bevo should make the playoffs after looking at that schedule. But, yeah, Garrett Wilson sucks. I mean, with Adams there, how are we saying that Rodgers, who's thrown for over 300 yards 0 times since 2020, middle of 21, is just going to support 2 wide receivers now? That's crazy.
Oh, my God.
I think he's going to. Adams is going to eviscerate the red zone targets. He and A-Rod just they have crumpets and tea and scones, and they jerk each other off in the red zone.
Jack has a glorified Wandale Robinson right now. Enjoy.
Damn.
That's rude.
Oof. Damn. Oof.
See, the difference is I think that Garrett Wilson is in a spot where it's the not the year 3 breakout, but the year 3 coined phrase is just around you have to produce this year in order to even come close to justifying a new contract, ahead of the 4th year before your rookie option is even being thought of being picked up. So that to me is what screams like Garrett Wilson is going to like force himself to get opportunities here. I really do think that Lazard is going to lose out on a majority of these like targets. I think that's where like all of Adams' looks are going to come from. So, I mean, I just happen to be of that opinion that Lazard is a massive like loser here. Garrett Wilson is still going to be the guy.
Someone who was even able to lose anything. I have Lazard, and I didn't think he was startable. Like, there's no way, man. I think if like the best bet is that like, well, Garrett Wilson's going to get Lazard's work, that's not good. But
that's not at all even what I'm saying. Like that, the thought isn't Adams replaces Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson becomes Adam Lazard. It's Lazard. It's just like of these deep targets / targets that are not going to an immediate throw to a player that is playing and lining up all over the field. Oh my God, this is such bad football. Sorry.
That was so fucking ugly.
How am I supposed to have a cohesive thought with that going on?
The rat like two people bouncing. Oh my God!
Like two people fucking in the woods when you're trying to golf.
Oh.
You should focus less on Garrett Wilson and talk more about Big Brooks.
Offsides. All right, so nothing mattered there. Look, the Big Brooks thing is just I watched the guy play at Texas. ANF pointed that out today for the trade. Like, this guy plays at Boston College. I probably don't make it. Like, yeah, that's true. True.
But look at that year-end tilt: Dallas, Arizona, Tampa Bay. That's why you get Big Brooks.
Well, also, look, part of it is like, if you sit there and do absolutely nothing for the entire year, like the odds of your team being this like well-drafted, well-oiled machine that puts it together the entire year is just so tough.
Yep.
And I've got the opportunity right now to like, Terry is a wide receiver 2 or 3 on my team. And if I can turn that into a running back, knowing that I've got bye week issues and depth issues later on in the season, and buy the idea of a rookie who comes in and makes a difference and had the most draft capital of any rookie running back, I think that's a possibility. I don't love that he's coming off of an ACL, but I also, happen to think that like he'll be fine. Like post week 8 or 9, I think that's when he starts becoming like, hey, I'm considering starting him in the flex, and then see how it progresses from there. So I think it's a good trade. I didn't have anybody else lining up to give me, a running back that has a legitimate shot at getting great touches every single week during the last half of the season for a wide receiver. So Curn gets the benefit of the doubt / you're always going to have that premium of, if you draft a Longhorn, I might come grab him from you.
That's a pro tip for everybody out there.
You do have a very deep wide receiver room. Like Juju Smith-Schuster might be an actual thing.
That's true.
That was kind of shocking, and also Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, he might be a thing too. That's fucking crazy.
Like, that's kind of a sneaky thing for everybody that just like screamed for the entire offseason that the Jets were going to go get Devontae Adams. Like, why not get Garrett Wilson and Jacoby Myers?
I hate to dog Hunter and like throw him under the bus and give you some free advice, but Njoku's about to get probably every target in that offense, and he's not being started over Schultz. I don't know.
Part of that was that Njoku had a high ankle sprain, and other than last week, I think last week was the first time he returned to like full participation.
I think
since that's been happening.
That's probably fair.
That team's fucking tanking. I don't know if there's going to be targets.
Yeah. Deshaun Watson's so bad, dude.
He is dog shit horrible.
I mean, this is the first time I'm watching Bo Nix, which is like bad quarterback play, trying to throw to a player that I have starting, and it's miserable. So if just the price is like, hey, Schultz is probably going to score a little bit less than Njoku is, but I also get the opportunity for a stack, and I don't have to watch Deshaun Watson play football. Is that an appropriate tax? Maybe.
Yeah.
No, I'm back on it. They're playing Green Bay. It'll be a shootout. I'm back. I'm back in.
I will say, Dalton Schultz really pissed me off last week, Jack. I don't know if anyone else will be mad at him because I don't think. Hopefully, the team doesn't work with as much of a peanut brain as I do. But when he whacked the ball away in the end zone into the hands of the fucking Patriots DB, like if the ball hits you in the hands when Stroud deems you worthy to throw to, you catch the ball. Anyway, I think we've pretty exhaustively covered that matchup. Let's get to our next of the marquee matchups here, and that is between Timo and Lippy. Now we have both of you on the call here. Both of you are 4-2. Sleeper doesn't know what the fuck to do with this matchup. It has it projected with 1.5 of each other. Timo, technically it shows you as the home team. What are your thoughts on this matchup and the two teams for this week?
Well, I would feel a lot better if 2/3 of my team wasn't questionable. Legitimately everybody but Kyler and Laporta is questionable.
So we will hold on one second here. I test real quick.
I think I just lost Timo right there. I'm not sure.
I just DC'd from Discord. I think it was a Discord little blip. Let's see here.
What's the last thing you heard?
Let me just.
That everyone was questionable.
Yeah, everyone was questionable. Yeah, and then we kind of blipped back in. Yeah.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison might not be the prince that was promised. Come get your Javonte Williams if you want him. He's doing well tonight. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of figured Kyler would be hit or miss, but he's been a lot more miss than hit.
A lot more miss than hit.
Overall, I'm not very optimistic about the game, but generally when I play Lippy, I'm not optimistic about my matchup. So
yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. I just from an observer standpoint, it is, I assumed when we had the, week 2 game from Kyler and Marvin Harrison, was it week 2 where when everything went right and they went so crazy, it's like, okay, here we are. We finally arrived. This is what it's going to be like every week. This is a cheat code. Holy shit. And it's been not that every week, and it's been a little bit disappointing. And
yeah, I don't understand why they don't make it easier for Marvin. All of his catches are contested. It seems like he's running a lot of fade routes. They're just not doing him a lot of favors. And then Kyler also just kind of does this weird thing where he doesn't even look to his side of the field half the time. So, again, it's an interesting offense, and I don't mean that in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say, Mixon looks sublime. Looks like you.
Yeah, Mixon feels good. If B-Rob's healthy, I'm pretty happy he's playing Carolina this week.
We're not sure what the extent of Aaron Jones' injury is. I know that Akers got traded back to the Vikings this week, so I'm not sure if that was just like a precaution or if the Vikings aren't telling us everything. Obviously,
he had a light practice yesterday. So
okay, so if he's practicing, that would give me some hope. And you've got Tracy, so you're in a good position. Yeah. Looking at Lippy's side of the matchup, Lippy, how about you get us started? What are your thoughts about your matchup this week and your team going forward?
At the end of the day, I hope everyone's healthy because this matchup deserves a healthy matchup. It really does. And it looks like Timo will have Mixon for sure. It looks good for Cup. It looks good for Marv too. And Reed's just questionable to be questionable. And B-Rob might be back too. So it looks like Timo might have a fully healthy squad. So we're looking forward to that. Ultimately, we love the matchup. So Chargers slow the game down so much. I mean, even if Kyler has a nice game there Monday night, it's probably not an absolute crazy boom. And Houston's secondary is destroyed. The same with their linebackers. Who cares if they linemen are still alive? We probably win by like 30 points this week, for being honest.
We're having difficulties. Lippy's about to be disconnected from the Discord.
Hold up. You do mean Green Bay wins by 30, right? Not Lippy wins by 30?
No, Lippy wins by 30. Oh, Green Bay might win by 40. I probably beat you by 30 this week.
Damn. That's cold, Lippy. It's a cold world. I thought we were going to be civil this week.
At the end of the day, Aaron Jones against Detroit, even if he is healthy, that's a I don't care that Faden's hurt. That's a terrible matchup for running backs. Minnesota's in for a wake-up call, probably. It's interesting. Your best hope is Jaden Reed just going bananas and just canceling out all the Jordan Love. We'll see though, because I'll be telling Jaden Reed in person and not hurt me too bad.
Oh, in person.
Now, Lippy, I'm gonna kind of go past a few of the things you said that would be considered more hurtful or harmful. I would just to comment. There's a few players on your team that I really like. For instance, I really like DK Metcalf and Jordan Addison. I think those are just exceptional players, and you're quite wise and smart for putting them into your lineup. This is just a great matchup as a whole. This very well could be a playoff preview. Both of these teams are full of really fun players that can have really good performances. Obviously, we were just talking about how it's been disappointing with the Cardinals, but that could very easily change any given day. What's going on the field? I know I'm 20 seconds behind. Is this guy
Did they just aircast a Devo?
I think Bevo just died. We've lost like 30 people.
Man.
It's big sad.
Fire our medical staff. Jesus Christ. The last 3 or 4 years, most of our team's been dead by the 7th and 8th week.
Yeah, hope he's all right. I think
good matchups all around for this team. It's going to be a good.
This is going to be a fun game.
Be a fun game,
and it's important. It's an important matchup for both of you. Obviously, this is not the last time y'all are going to play. Y'all have another matchup after this, and
Drake London's on bye that week, which is not ideal.
So
what week is it, Lippy?
Week 12, I believe, is the next matchup. Whenever Drake London's bye is the matchup.
I don't know who I have week 14, but that one's going to be rough for me because B-Rob's and
I've got a terrible week.
B-Rob and Mixon are out.
But
so I actually have Timo and Lippy in the elite tier. There's no more. I don't think there's any more island of like Zeus or like Goon Olympus, but there is an elite tier, and I would put both these teams firmly in that tier.
Yeah, this is a playoff preview, barring something going wrong for one of these teams or just really terrible luck. So, I've got both these teams as
it is disheartening to be ranked 4th in the standings, and you look at the playoff tab, and I just don't get in there because divisions. But anyway,
that's not true.
There's a way. So we do have
only the top two division
winners for points for.
No, it's top 2 division winners, and then it gets adjusted to points for. So anything that's like, if Sleeper is saying, like, you don't get in the playoffs, but you are a top 4 points for team, and you have a top 4 record, you're in.
Yeah, divisions are only 4 matchups. We probably have to remind everyone again on this, because I remember last year, like, I don't know, we'll remind everyone, and I'll send a text at some point, but yeah, it's right. It's the top 2 division winners, and everything else is just
next season will be different when we make permanent divisions, but that's a conversation for later. Moving on.
Can you imagine how shitty permanent divisions would be? Like, imagine if these divisions that we have right now were permanent.
It'd be great.
Oh, I think this is a great division to be in. ANF and Neil.
I would get 6 free wins a year.
How's that going?
We'd be doing ANF a favor. We should do it.
It's going great.
Today.
It's going great. Curn got 1 lucky win, I mean, Curn's terrible. I would be blessed to have him as a permanent division opponent. I mean, the guy can't.
I'm willing to help you out, ANF. I would look. The only people stopping you are the people around you right now. I'm just trying to help. So
Curn. So
you get them to vote it in.
When we pull permanent divisions, I can count your vote in to lock them. Yeah.
You can lock it in. Hey, if we vote for it, I'm locked in as yes.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
I'm not. I will vote yes only if ANF agrees because it's such a great concept that he's not allowed to be in a division with Curn.
What?
Oh, come on!
If it's such a good concept and it's so fair and it's so awesome, and we should have permanent divisions, then ANF would make the sacrifice for the betterment of the league.
But there's such a good
can't be in Curn's division.
Why would you think I would do that? Why would you think I would make a sacrifice for the league? What would give you that idea?
Must not be that good of a concept.
No, it is. Don't tempt me. I might do that. I'll fall on the sword for permanent divisions. We'll talk about that later, though. That's a conversation for later. We have a less marquee matchup. Even though historically it's always been spicy. We have the Jonah Monstar matchup. Unfortunately, Monstar's team has been having trouble bringing the fire this year. We are dealing with a rather unfortunate 1-5 record, and I think it could be tough to pull out a dub here. Jonah's team has been performing at a high level. I think Jonah deserves hats off for that, given what has been befalling his team. I think he's been a good manager given the injuries, and I think he deserves some props for that because he's been in a tough situation. That being said, Monstar's had some pretty shitty luck as well, and that's really unfortunate. So let's go ahead and let's open the floor. Lippy, I'd love to get your point of view on where you have Jonah's team ranked in terms of likelihood and path to the playoffs. He has, I think, surprised people with getting some good, solid wins here and putting some good points on the board with a team that a lot of people, myself included, counted out.
I don't hate his team at the end of the day. It really just depends on that schedule for him. And I mean, gets Monstar this week, then he gets Dustin next, and then it's not a bad schedule he's got cooked up for the rest of the season. It really depends how everything works out. It's tough. I would put him just in the hunt at the end of the day. Because I wouldn't be surprised with how he's done recently, but end of the day, he's probably in the hunt. And then I do have to push back on you saying Monstar's been hurt by injuries. Again, what injuries has he been hurt by? ETN just isn't good, and Bigsby's better. I mean, Achan, sure, he had a concussion, but without two of that first game, he was fine. I mean, you have Timo here who has got 50% of his starting lineup that's hurt half the weeks, and he's still 4-2. Maybe Monstar's team just isn't good and shouldn't have been tier 1 like KHoles or Curn gave him.
Yeah, I think I fucking cursed this poor dude. I don't know. Like, I saw so much like promise. Just like,
yeah, I mean,
it's like I'm glad like things could have gone so wrong for me because like my takes were so in line. Like I was big on A-Chain. I was big on fucking just Mike Evans again. Oh, there's Devontae Williams. I was big on Value Cooper. I was big on fucking Worthy. I mean, I don't know. I've always liked ETN. Like there's a multi-universe where I end up with a lot of these players, and I'm pretty sad. But I mean, wow, yeah, no, this team is just real shitty.
It's a bunch of mid. I mean, yeah, Evans is still nice. Achan's still nice, but besides that, there's nothing that gets going.
What if Nick Chubb comes back and just reminds us all that he's Nick Chubb?
That could be fun.
He had a very inspiring piece in the Players Tribune.
That was awesome.
So
I think Chubb might come back and make a little noise. I don't know. People are like rooting him on in fucking press conferences and shit. Like, I don't know. It's kind of some good vibes around.
I would definitely be happy if that happened. I think it's hard not to root for Nick Chubb. I think, man, I hope. We joke about it's bigger than football a lot, but man, I hope that guy has a great time. Here's the thing, though. He's probably not, because how could you possibly look at the worst quarterback in the league by a country And when I say country, I don't mean like a living in the rural country. I mean like a large country mile. Worst quarterback in the league. There's going to be 11 in the box every time. Because let's take this passing game and remove Amari Cooper from it. Does anyone have
I forgot what the stat
Ebola just
was.
thinking about it?
I forgot what the stat was, but like Deshaun Watson's like not even just like bad like for the league. He's like historically like breaking records bad. Like I forget what it is, but like it's some record of like, throwing touchdowns or fucking something, I don't know, but like he's holy shit, what a waste of
that
cash.
offense is statistically worse than they were whenever they only won one game out of 33.
Yeah.
God damn. Fuck. Maybe that's a stat. I don't know, but it's so bad.
They still haven't scored 20 points, right? Is that true?
That is correct, sir. Yes, sir. That is correct. Only
Has he
team in the
thrown
NFL.
over 200 yards yet?
You could ask the same question for Mahomes, probably. But he probably has. He has to have thrown for over 200 yards, right?
I mean, they're behind in every single game.
No, he hasn't. He threw for 196 in week 3. He's thrown a touchdown in only 4 games. He's thrown 2 touchdowns in 1 game. God damn.
Yeah, you could probably do a Deshaun Watson versus like Bryce Young side by side and confuse a lot of people with the stats.
I didn't know it was this bad, dude. He threw the ball 45 times for 170 yards.
That's not very good, Curn.
Fuck me, dude. And 2 of those passes were picks.
Okay, let's do a real quick obviously this is a 6-point passing touchdown league question, right? Would you rather start Jalen Milroe or Deshaun Watson for the rest of the year?
Jalen Milroe, like from college?
Deshaun Watson, because I would rather have points than no points.
I think you're going to go with no points regardless. But anyway, let's move on from this matchup. We've got mine and Neil's as the last one. Neil's got an unfortunate set of circumstances here. He's got Olave out tonight with injury. He's got the Cowboys on bye. Sleeper's not being very nice to him. And my team obviously is going to go crazy and absolutely feast. So, anyone predicting Neil to win this game? Let's go.
I'd really like to, but nah. He's got if you zoom in, you'll see a lot of red matchups.
There's a lot of red, Curn. There's a lot of big red.
There's a lot of red matchups he's got going on for some of his key players. Yeah, it's tough. What a game to roll Wilson out. I'm kind of glad they're rolling Wilson out versus the Jets because maybe he just gets gobbled up and that locks in Fields forever. But yeah, tough card to play with Pickens there. I mean, Najee Harris, ditto. James Conner's banged up. Libby had some good points, but slowing down the game for the Chargers. It's going to be a very boring game. Yeah. Starting Stafford is just tough. I guess Kupp's back, but like that's just I don't know about all that. But it's starting 2 tight ends and Waddle and yeah, tough sledding. I mean, you've got your own problems, ANF, but I mean, you've got some good pieces after all, and I think you'll slither your way out.
So let me say this, because I don't know if you all know this or not, but I really normally just say almost universally positive things about my team. That might come as a surprise to you guys. But I'm very sad about the Titans passing offense. And I don't say that as an NFL wise. Like, obviously, I'm very pleased at how dog shit horrible the Titans passing offense is. But I really thought Calvin Ridley was such a sneaky pick. I thought, man, this Will Levis guy, all he does is throw for a bajillion yards a game, and it's going to be so good for fantasy, and they're still going to lose and be the shitty Titans. Well, turns out they're just the shitty Titans. I am so annoyed that the Titans are so fucking bad that they've got this fucking absolute goober of a mayonnaise merchant throwing the ball, and his one thing he was supposed to do is throw for a shit ton of yards, but he can't even be like Jameis. He's just a shitty asshole who's not going to do anything, and the Titans are going to pick another quarterback, and this is already over. And man, I wanted Ridley to be really cool, and he's really not. I might start him this week. I probably will. But man, that's fuck. You know what? I'm we'll figure that out. I don't know if I'm going to.
Is Calvin Ridley the Deshaun Watson of wide receivers?
No, Will Levis is like
Deshaun Watson.
Will Levis is Deshaun Watson without raping anybody and getting paid $230 million.
In the same role.
If he was getting paid $230 million, it'd be the same conversation. He's fucking terrible. He's the second worst quarterback in the league. The reason Deshaun's worse, I mean, statistically, Deshaun is worse, which is incredible. And he's getting paid, magnitudes more. So, anyway, fuck the Titans.
Alexander, any thoughts on people saying the Texans' offense in general has been just mid?
I don't understand what you mean by that.
They're just okay, the Texans' offense. Any thoughts on that? They're big play merchants is what they say.
I'm sorry, what? We're big play merchants?
Break
that down.
Who is they?
Yeah.
Who's they? Is they Matthew Lippman?
It's just people.
It's fine. We could keep the ambiguous they to protect anyone who doesn't want to be named. That's fine.
The Texans offense CJ Stroud was good last year, I was told, but they're 17th.
Hold on.
Bottom half in the league.
Told last year. I told you. I tell you at every possibility that he's the best quarterback in the league. You weren't told last year. You're told every opportunity I get.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. I was curious about that. 26th in success rate. That's just converting first downs. 17th in EPA per play. 13th in EPA per drop back. That's just mid. That's what they are. Without Nico, they are a mid team that is big play merchants.
So wait, what do you/they/you mean when you say big play merchants?
It's exactly what it sounds like, sir.
So does that mean we have a little shop set up in the Big Play Bazaar and sell big plays?
I'm saying if you didn't have Nico Collins being the absolute best player to ever exist, you guys would suck.
Wait, okay. So let's break this down. We had
there's nothing to break down. You guys have to face the number 1 and the number 2 safeties in the NFL this weekend.
We had Nico Collins for precisely one.
I think you're forgetting Joe Mixon.
Yeah, but Timo, we're just getting started. But
after this conversation, y'all should go click on Calvin Ridley's player card and click on his performance and read the comments. It is great. Dude is as useful as a blind man in a storm.
The Texans' offense is 25th in success rate. I'm having a blast.
Calvin sucks big balls. This is great. Anyway, I'm just having a blast over here. Y'all go on.
Let's real quickly. We had
Calvin Midley.
We had Curn's having so much fun. We had Nico Collins for precisely one play in the Bills game. Like, is that all it takes? One play to beat the Buffalo Bills?
But see,
I thought they were a great team.
Alexander, every single drive, you guys have third and long, and get lucky.
Okay,
that's what it is.
So let's talk about why, Mr. Excuse me. Obviously, it's not you. It's people. It's obviously not you. I would hate to point these comments your direction when obviously you're not the one saying them. So let's talk about why our drives have been so ass, and why these statistics that individuals are pointing out. So for the first 3 weeks of the season, I think our offensive line, I think Tunsil was beating some teams in terms of penalties earned. So I think we had more 3rd and 20s via penalties, 3rd and 20s plus, more than the rest of the AFC combined at one point. So the new rules, I'll say this, were very difficult for some of our big fellas up front to understand. We've solved those problems. I'm very happy to report D'Amico, great coach, great guy, great fella, has instructed the team that we do not need any more penalties, and we can stop that now. Secondly, Joe Mixon is a fucking awesome player, and we've been playing without him for the longest time. He comes back, is fucking lit. He's fucking awesome. Right back to work, right back to getting things done, both in the passing game and the running game. So losing Nico, obviously terrible hit, but Lippy, come on now.
Nine times against the Patriots, you guys had 3rd and 5 or longer. That's in the first half.
Wait,
9 times.
So we had that many opportunities. Our offense. It sounds like we converted on 3rd down a lot. Lippy.
Sounds like you played a shitty team and got lucky.
Wait.
You guys are in for a wake up call. It's okay.
What about against the Bills? Are they a shitty team?
The Bills, not very good. Yes. The AFC is not a good conference.
You are a jokester, and you should feel silly saying things like that.
Who are you scared into play in the AFC besides the Chiefs and the Ravens? I can't even think of a third team.
You are trolling. You have to be. You say things like that, and it makes
me the Texans that are a +8 in point differential after 6 weeks.
Makes me wonder what's you know why? Because we played the Vikings, the same Vikings you lost to
by 2 points.
Okay. Oh wow. That's really interesting, Lippy.
Hold on. The first half of the Vikings versus the Patriots.
First half. Who cares? The full game counts.
Wait, I'm pretty sure we just had a quoted like that was in the first half. You had this many 3rd and 5 opportunities or greater. So the first half when you guys lost to the Vikings by 4 touchdowns.
Facts are changing.
That's nice, Jack.
That is a good transition to like. When do we think, or does it happen to the group? When does the NFL figure out the Brian Flores like mixed defensive scheme that the Vikings are running to like such a great success, or does that become like the next thing? Because like I saw something where they're like running basically like a confusing front look, and then they're splitting the field in half as far as like how corners run like standard coverages, and they mix them completely to just confuse every quarterback that has ever played the game of football.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really good. It looks really, really good. And I think a lot of teams will be trying to implement that next year. Obviously, we got to see, it's not, don't want to crown the Vikings yet or anything already, but, I mean, they definitely, especially after their dub, are going as favorites to win the NFC North. And that's with Darnold.
We got points. Fucking go. You said ANF, come back.
Wait, hold on. Curn, you might be even farther behind than ANF is.
Yeah, I think you are.
Yeah, that just came through. I'm following the game log on my phone because I'm just like, I was watching it now.
Okay, that's much better. Yeah. I thought your internet was affected by a recent hurricane.
Saw some row catches. Look at this.
Well, look, so that kind of closes out our matchup breakdown. I guess what I like doing a few questions going forward about just what do you think about certain players? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Curn, let me ask you this as a, and I ask this as a AFC South hater. What are your thoughts about the Indianapolis Colts quarterback situation going forward?
It's I mean they've got an interesting case. They have A-Rich is still, I don't want to misspeak, but I want to say he's, if not the youngest, but one of the youngest starting quarterbacks right now. He's only 22. Mm-hmm. Only played I don't know. He played like less than 20 games since college or some shit. Like it's some crazy number how raw he is. Like he makes throws. He makes some throws that just it's like I don't think there's a living human being on planet Earth who could do those throws. But then immediately afterwards he'll make a throw that probably I would make. Just wandering onto the field. It's like there's so much polish that needs to be done. I think. I'm optimistic about A-Rich going forward for the long term. I think they can orchestrate an environment around him to succeed. It's just I have a hard time believing that he's going to be the game-breaking guy this year, which sucks. It's going to bring the whole offense down, I think. They're going to have a very low passing volume team. They're going to run the ball a lot. I mean, he seemingly likes to get hurt. He runs with such he runs like fucking Thomas Rawls, which you can't do if you're a quarterback. You have to be, like Jaden Daniels runs and he does the kind of shit that Lamar does. Like he'll shift out of bounds or find ways to have low impact, sliding, and A-Rich just fucking just Devos through the line, and you can only do that so much, or he's gonna end up fucking spraining his AC joint again. So it's I don't know. I think from a fantasy perspective, obviously, it's if Flacco's in there, they're fucking slinging it, and he's feeding everybody. I think it's a good, glorious fantasy world. But if they're starting A-Rich and he's healthy the rest of the year, I'm having a hard time wanting to start anybody besides, I don't know, fucking Alex Pierce as a flyer.
Does JT exist?
I think JT exists, not for sure. No, but JT's a dog. I think JT's fine either way. I think it has really no impact on the game with him. I think, I think that the times that I don't know how many red zone. He needs to be more consistent for them to have good red zone looks, because they you're just liable to have him go out and do some of those A-Rich things where he just throws the ball, airmails it 40 yards over the person's head 4 times, and they punt. It's but then every fourth pass, he'll throw a fucking 70-yard moon drop to fucking Alec Pierce that looks like it was, drawn from fucking Zeus's dick himself. So it's
it sounds like a big play merchant to me, Curn. Is that a big play merchant?
Oh! He's a huge play merchant. But the way he does other passes that are just such high velocity throws into windows with such little effort while running sideways. He's such a freak. Anyway, I don't know. I would love to see them polish him up over the next year.
How do you not
I think they're going to stick with him, and it's going to be very bad for fantasy, but it's going to be...
That was an awful
What do y'all think?
Honey Badger's got to catch that. Curn, I don't know if...
Yeah.
And I don't think Richardson's exactly the same as him, but do you remember a quarterback, from a small school? Granted, Richardson was from Florida. Didn't have much experience, etc. He was drafted really high by a squad. Everyone was really excited and everything.
He's not Trey Lance.
Is he not? Are you sure?
Trey Lance, because we saw Trey Lance go out and he floundered, and he had 1 or 2 good passes. A-Rich is doing things athletically and doing things against professional grown-ass men where there's just, you have to hold on to that hope. I think if you polish him, he's young, unpolished.
Real quick question: what is Trey Lance ADP in Superflex Dynasty?
It's probably in the triple digits.
Curn, I know you're a man who's seen a lot of stats. You've seen the stat or something with QBs with Richardson's type of completion percentage twofold. They don't get more accurate. Josh Allen's the only one that really ever do it. And on top of that, they don't finish his QB once.
Yeah,
he needs to become more accurate, and you can't teach that. So where is it going to come from for him? To actually be a QB1 in fantasy. Could be okay in real life, but...
No, I think for fantasy, he has a higher percentage of being more successful than a real life quarterback, which is what you want to have him. You want him to go do Justin Fields shit. He has to run the ball. He has to run the ball better. He runs the ball, but he's not. On the games where he's getting 9-10 yards to carry on his runs. He's whooping some ass. But he's not going to do it by throwing the ball 30 times and not running the ball. At a good ratio. He has to run the ball. He has to be able to extend downs. He has to extend plays. He has to fucking run the ball. He has to do what fucking, he can throw 160 yards a game and still drop 30 points on you. That's what, lots of rushing quarterbacks do that. That's why you get them. So, if he can do that and maintain his draft capital and be successful at that, I think it's fine. But I think they're trying to force him to be more of a pocket passer right now, and it's, you throw the ball 34 times and against Green Bay, and he's constantly throwing picks. It's just not a good recipe for success.
How many yards do y'all think?
Frank.
How many yards do y'all think Gary Wilson has on the season?
What they sent the stat around, it was almost 400. I thought
It's $3.99. How many targets?
I know he has 41
most
catches.
in the league.
67.
Most in the league. Yeah.
How many yards do y'all think Alan Lazard has?
Oh, good
It's
question.
going to be skewed by that Hail Mary because that's going to be like, it should be like 1/5 or more of his production.
He has 354 yards.
ANF, I have a really fun game.
Close.
I have a really fun game. It's
targets?
called
How many targets does Alan Lazard have?
I'm going to guess like 20. No, he has like 20 something catches. I'm going to guess like low 30s.
He has 40. That's just
What
interesting. Al Lazard's the wide receiver 8. Garrett Wilson's the wide receiver 9.
ANF, here's a good question. Barring if he's traded to Kansas City Chiefs or some team by the deadline, would you rather have Big Milky Johnson or Garrett Wilson rest of the year?
Okay, real quick question, Curn. I apologize for not knowing off the top of my head. Who is Big Milky Johnson?
Deontay Milky Johnson. Come on, ANF.
I'm sorry. That's on me.
Big Milky Johnson.
I apologize. I'm sorry. That's my fault.
Read the fucking nickname, ANF.
No, I know. I knew it
Would
was
you
someone
rather
on his
have
team.
Big Milky Johnson or Garrett Wilson with
I'd rather
fucking
have Xavier
Adam?
Leggett. Let's go.
Ew.
I would.
You gotta think about it, huh?
No, I don't.
It's Big Milky Johnson every day of the week.
Milky Johnson every day of the week. Yeah,
That's nice. I
appreciate
that.
That's going to be a horrific audio clip for everyone that just said those 3 words in a row.
True, Jack. When are these Garrett Wilson takes ever gonna hurt us? AKA never, because he always sucks.
I love how Bevo like tripled down. He's like, this is actually going to be great for Garrett Wilson.
Hold on. No, the only point I'm making here is like if you just listen to the words coming out of your mouth, and I'm not going to be the one to say the words. And then someone were to clip those words and then put them over something else.
He's talking about Big Milky Johnson.
I love Big Milky Johnson. I think he's it's a great. I'm all about Big Milky Johnson.
Yeah. Consider me a person who also loves some Big Milky Johnson.
You like a good Milky Johnson?
I'm starting Big Milky Johnson this week unless he gets traded. People are saying he might get traded tomorrow, and I'm kind of freaking the fuck out. That's why I'm glad I made this trade.
You're freaking out about Big Milky Johnson?
Curn, I would love your Big Milky Johnson on my team.
Wow.
Oh, I mean, who wouldn't? So big and milky.
That's a great question.
Zesty.
So zesty.
Well, I think it's better for Deontay Johnson if he gets traded. Like, yeah, it'll suck for a week or two.
You know who he's really good for? Xavier Leggett. This would be really good for.
Jack, has a trade ever been bad for somebody?
No. But
if he goes to Kansas City, that'd be really cool. I'd be back in if he went to Kansas City. I'm back in.
Yeah, like where's he going to get traded to that he's rumored to get traded to that sucks?
He's going to the Browns, baby. The Jets.
It's just Kansas City right now.
Bring him into the Jets.
I'd have a hard time defending Garrett Wilson if that happened.
Just for the sake of
it would really put a real Milky Johnson in that take. Yeah.
I think if you told every single person who's like flaming me for the Lazard stuff, you're like, well, hold on, Alan Lazard is wide receiver 8 on the season this year. They might back up a little bit and be like, all right, maybe there are some points
Why am I not starting Alan Lazard?
Yeah, it just speaks to your prowess as a manager.
Yeah, it really does. Okay. I'd like to breaking news on the pod.
I'm not even starting Alan Lazard.
Calvin Ridley is out of the lineup.
Are you going to start Alan as a wide receiver 3 for a team? No.
Wow.
I mean, I'm starting multiple wide receiver 3s for a team.
Wait, you're starting Xavier? Do you have like? Oh, it's because Keenan Allen, one of your best players, is on.
He could start a wide receiver 0 and keep.
Wow. By the way, Keenan is dust. Absolutely falls through the floor. Has 8 touchdowns last week.
Okay, I mean, he lost.
I'm gonna.
I saw he lost.
We do need to talk about Alexander's team here for a second. I don't know if we brushed on it yet. That lineup's disgusting this week, Alexander.
I mean, yeah. Look, I mean, I made a bet on acquiring Nico. I mean, that's why I did the trade. I traded away DK to get Nico Collins. I'm like, okay, I can absorb some losses. First of all, Brock Bowers is fucking dope as fuck. I love having this guy on the team. You want to talk about who wins the Devontae Adams trade? I've got both of them. Breece Hall and Brock Bowers. Breece is right
he had 2 more points. He had 2 more points than KHoles. That's crazy.
Yeah, and he didn't have a touchdown. And Brock Bowers is so lit. He's so fucking lit. Anyone that doesn't think so is trolling just to make fun of my team.
I don't think that's where the team looks ugly at, sir.
No, I mean I know. I just put an Alan fucking Lazard, and I've got Xavier Leggett. It's fine. This team is built. This team is built for when Nico comes back. What do you?
I have a really good question.
I think I need to bump Golly's team above yours. I do think I need to bump Golly's team above yours after looking at this.
I mean, Golly's a tier 2 team. If you think that, that's totally fine. I've been repping Golly's team for a while now. Golly's got a good
ANF,
team.
here's a good question. Would you rather have rest of season Kenneth 9 targets a game, Walker, or Saquon Barkley? Think about it.
I mean, it's Saquon, but Ken's getting closer.
It might be.
I need a little bit. I see a little bit of wins, boys. I've had such L's. I need some wins.
Gino loves throwing the ball to Ken Walker. It might be.
They just love to.
I might have to trade. I might have to train. Actually, let me get y'all's advice. I might have to offer Goon Braylon ANF for Zach Charbonnet.
What? No, Ken Walker.
I don't think Goon would do that to you. I don't think Kuhn would give that to you just because he's a petty guy and doesn't want to give you your own backup.
But he got a lead
win. Zach Charbonnet. He's terrible.
Well, Zach Charbonnet did great when he was the starter.
No.
Alexander, just as someone's not a starter right now doesn't mean they're the worst player that exists.
Charbonnet looks like ass when he's on the field. He's terrible.
He does. He's not good at football, but he gets 90% of the load.
He
had 5 yards of carry and 2 touchdowns versus the Dolphins.
No. Exactly.
Well, I'll think about it. Goon, fucking bookmark this shit. You and I are going to have some business. Trying to tighten up our rosters a little bit.
Goon's got to tighten up that butthole.
That's right.
I mean, Kamara looks like he might suck.
This is not a great showing by him. I mean, Broncos defense very good. Very good defense.
Part of what everyone said Goon was on Olympus
on the team, and they can key on him. It's hard for him to have a good game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Rat Pack is doing him any favors.
Wow, here's another really fun one. Would you rather have Ridmid or would you have DeAndre Hopkins?
Neither. Hopefully.
I'd rather have AIDS.
Wait, so is Ridmid Spencer Rattler?
Whoa.
Who's that? Oh, Calvin Ridley.
I should have said Calvin Midley.
Calvin Midley. Okay, all right. Look, I'm really trying. Okay.
We've been on fire with
the answer's neither of them. The answer's neither of them. You don't want anyone on Tennessee. That's the answer. You don't want anybody. One of them will have a better week in terms of yardage, and someone might catch a touchdown. There is no way to know who that's going to be. It's awful. Something has to change in terms of how they're calling plays, or they need to have someone from Pizza Hut come in and throw the football.
What if you called Timo after this pod and said, "Hey Timo, wild bet. I'll give you Midley for Ray McLeod." You got to be thinking about it, right?
I feel like you'd rather have Ray McLeod.
I have such a unique relationship.
About it.
I have such a unique relationship with Mr. McLeod. I'd rather have Mooney than Ridley. That's for sure.
I think
100%.
Who would rather have Ridley over Ray McLeod though?
I think I would, just on the off chance the Titans turn it around.
Fuck all that. Give me Ray McSavage.
I think Ridley will be a squeaky wheel, or was a squeaky wheel last week. So
his press conference was funny.
Focused for a little bit.
His press conference was funny. So
I think he might be trade bait for somebody this week.
What's going to suck ANF is he's gonna have like 4 targets, 2 catches, 15 yards, but one will be like a screen touchdown, and you're back in. You're just back in, and he's back in your wide receiver 2 slot immediately.
Wide receiver 2 slot.
Yesterday.
I just need Nico to come back, and then this team is unbeatable.
Unbeatable.
Well, sometimes you gotta get over injuries, ANF. We're all suffering from injuries here. I mean, shit.
That's what I'm saying, Curn. But if anyone else talks about them having injuries, like you, sink like union busters on them for anyone implying that they could possibly have an injured player.
I'm gonna union buster you for falsely representing Keenan Allen and fucking Jordan Addison, your $6 investment versus fucking Pacheco and Reek and fucking K9.
When was Reek injured?
Singletary.
When was Reek injured? I didn't know he was injured. Is he doing with the
That's
hamstring?
a good question. That's a good question.
He's got tangential concussion syndrome.
Wait,
let's be real.
Wait,
Let's be real,
when was
ANF.
Reek injured? Wait, his quarterback plays bad? Wait, okay, so Ridley's injured too. Huh?
Oh. Sure, but you invested in that situation before it got injured. You saw the injury and said, yes, give me more.
No, I mean, Levis was not playing like this last year. Come on now.
Oh, God.
Come on. Now.
Hunter and I gave you like a 30-minute heart-to-heart in Texas about this.
Wait, what are you talking about? You invested knowing exactly what was happening to Tua last year. What are you talking about? Huh?
That is such a misrepresentation.
He did the same thing last year. He did the same thing last year. What are you talking about?
Have we scored yet? I'm done talking to this troll clown.
It wasn't last year. I think it was the year before.
We're having Mr. Waiter come out
2 years ago.
Because last year was all about him learning jiu-jitsu, so he learned how to fall.
Yeah, he knew how to fall good.
I guess he gave up after the free trial.
Damn, that does suck. He learned jiu-jitsu from a fucking iPhone app, probably, that started trying to charge him $9.99 a month, and he was like, no thanks.
Or it was like the flashcards, and they weren't moving pictures, so he couldn't really figure it out. Like, yeah, like, what do you mean, Curn? You knew about that this was a possibility. Why wasn't Reek the wide receiver 1? Because of this.
Oh, God.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't have to defend myself.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Crowd.
So why wasn't Reek the wide receiver 1 in ADP?
These heinous conclusions.
Why wasn't Reek the wide receiver 1 in ADP?
That is just ass. You are a giant bull of ass.
He was pretty close.
I mean, he was like wide receiver.
He was like wide receiver 2 or 3.
He was wide receiver 5. So
no,
I just wanted.
No, he was not wide receiver.
He was wide receiver 10.
He was not
wide receiver 10. He was wide receiver 10.
Alexander.
He was wide receiver 15. He's worse than Alan Lazard. That much is fact. And it's because his quarterback has brain injury, and that's unfortunate.
That's all it is. He didn't have a whole season sucking ass with T-Lock.
Damn, Tyreek was ADP number 1. Oh, God.
Will Levis, that would be better.
Well, that's not where he went in our draft, and that's curious.
I mean, dollar-wise, he had to be pretty close to going to ADP 1.
Yeah, he was very close. I think it was like the same. I think there were like multiple 62 to 64 players.
ANF, here's a fun question for you because I'm going to clip this. How high is Reek in a full game with Tua back, healthy?
What do you mean, how high? Like, I guess that comes down to his supply guy. I have no idea.
Where would you hear that Tua's coming back, he's cleared everything, he's fucking sharp as a whistle. How high do you rank him for that week?
Did you guys see the Twitter stuff that Reek was getting into? Someone was saying Reek's first play, or Tua's first game back, they did
that was hilarious.
Run, and then Reek said, "Who's calling the second play?"
See, he's got a good sense of humor.
I mean, he also.
So, Curn, to answer your question though, he'd be wide receiver like 4 or 5.
Okay, I'll take it. That's fair. Fair. You know what?
Are you collecting wins instead of fantasy points over takes on the pod? Like, are you playing hypothetical fantasy football?
Like, I mean, he is ahead of you in his division, sir.
I mean,
I'm just using the comparison.
He doesn't have the wide receiver 8 now, Lazard.
Okay, here's a wonderful question, ANF. If fucking Mason Rudolph comes in and starts for the fucking refrigerator asshole, how high do you rank Calvin Midley?
I'm really trying. Okay, so who's the refrigerator asshole? I thought that isn't.
It's Will Levis.
Isn't David Montgomery the fridge?
No. If Will Levis is out and you have Mason Rudolph, the situation's totally fixed. How high are you rating fucking Midley?
Well, no, I don't think
Top
Mason
30?
Rudolph being an.
Why would Mason Rudolph be a boost?
Totally fixed. When has he totally fixed anything?
You throw Joe Flacco in there. Now that
he almost fixed racism, if you think about it.
Well, I think he almost caused racism. Depending on whose story you believe. Yeah, so, no, I mean, if you throw Joe Flacco into the Titans, I'm very excited about Calvin Ridley. If you throw Mason Rudolph, my opinion doesn't change very much, Curn.
Well, I mean, there you go. See? You knew about a more foul situation. I'm insinuating, ANF, that you're not going to draw the same conclusion that I should have known about Tua, and that's why I'm fucking eating weak dog shit right now.
That we've seen happen, and unfortunately, it very well can happen again. It's very sad. I wish the best for Tua and his health, but
yes,
it's a very real possibility.
So the same risk falls with Jamar Chase when you draft him. Burrow's been out a good bit. Maybe he hurts his risk.
I mean,
no.
No,
he's been out way more than Tua.
I mean, he definitely doesn't have the same risks as Reek does in terms of quarterback. Like,
Do you guys remember when Devontae Adams had that awful concussion and everyone thought he should retire? Good times.
Yeah, I mean, Tua might be the second person that we see die on a field, though.
But before
That's gonna be a great clip if that ever happens.
Before that, he's going to come back and he's going to be a top 5 wide receiver.
I hate to say it, but the gang signs get worse every time it happens. Like, and the hits aren't nearly as hard. Like the one that put him out did not seem like a very big hit. So I don't know, man. I really worry. Even if he comes back, he finishes the season. Like he better download that app again and start learning how to fall. I don't get it, man. He's made so much money.
I mean, Curn,
just ride off into the sunset.
This all sounds like good reasons for Reek to still catch passes from Skylar Thompson.
I'm just saying, Tua, like, didn't he like tear his entire hip in half? And like, I think he's got mental problems. He's just going to come back and keep playing. And I'm not going to say that that's good or bad.
Got mental problems. You see the concussions, my dog?
Wait, he's got mental problems? He's got mental. Wait, so you drafted a player that's getting the ball thrown to him that has mental problems? Huh?
The quarterback has mental problems.
Well, I mean, Reek does too. Reek has mental problems. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he does. The audio tapes are very disturbing. We don't talk about that a lot because he plays in Miami now and he has fun being a cheetah or whatever. But anyway, Curn. Let's take a look here. When do we play next? Like week 11?
Let's see. Week 11.
Week 11, yeah.
You gotta have them by. Who are you sneaking into?
Oh, we don't have Milky Johnson, and I'm without
Milky Johnson's gone.
I'm without Xavier Legette. So pretty much, that's a wash there.
It's a wash.
It's a wash. It's a wash.
Oh God, poor ANF. Well, you know what? We're just gonna slide fuck down Brown there, just right into that flex spot.
Jordan Mason is probably going to be a little bit less dynamic that week.
Maybe. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. Look,
I mean, Nico should be back by week 11.
Oh,
you'd hope.
Absolutely, he is.
1, 2, 3, 4. That'd be 6 weeks.
Yeah, no, he's definitely back. And Motor is on bye, so I mean,
that's probably Tyrone Tracy's job to lose now.
Yeah, that's an ANF dub right there, for sure.
Oh man, get him!
I mean, Tracy seems like a great player to have. Anyone that's listening,
yeah.
Timo has a fine asset in Tyrone Tracy. And,
Brian Daboll's boy is fucking Motor. It's his homie. Yeah. They're fucking BFFs. It's gonna be the biggest fucking just like erection fucking reversal into your tummy when he comes back and gets like 15.
I mean, I think it'll be a split. I don't think it'll be 50-50, but he's definitely eating into the workload. I don't think you can see that type of production.
They lost Timo for a bit.
Yeah, Curn.
But I'm picking up what he's putting down. I'm with it.
Can you hear me?
You never want to see a rookie come in and ball out. But to be fair, I think Singletary was playing just fine before then. So I think he was too. And I think that a two-headed Monstar to take some pressure off fucking throwing the ball into your defense 17 times to a guy who just got concussion. You don't want to fucking have 2 concussions, right? So what if they just do a little 1-2 fire and ice? You know, I'm cool with that.
Curn, let me go.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
That's what I'm saying is like I don't see Tracy straight up taking the job, but it's just hard to see that production for 2 weeks and not see him at least get a bigger piece of the pie, right? Like I just don't. I understand coaches are all about their boys, and who knows, Motor might come out and get like a 70-30 split, but I feel like it's going to be closer to like 60-40, 50-50. He's been so productive while Motor's been out. I just don't see, unless they're...
I think it's fair.
I don't know. Maybe Motor's got dirt on Dayball, like, stuffed in his closet in some envelopes, but I don't know.
Curn, much more importantly, just to get you on the record, does anyone else on your team have mental problems?
Look, I cut out a little bit during that speech. I don't remember saying that at all. I think you're putting words in my mouth. I think what I meant to say was, look, we're starting fucking Big Zesty versus Green Bay that week, and it's going to be a divisional SummerSlam, and it's going to be just peak.
Okay.
You get Big Zesty again.
Is Big Zesty Caleb Williams?
You guessed it.
Okay. All right. I'm like I said, I'm trying. I really am.
You're doing good. You're doing good, ANF.
All right.
You're picking them up.
Good. I mean,
do you want to revise your take, ANF?
On what? Normally the answer
on Big
is no.
Zesty.
Oh, on Big Zesty. I mean, he's had 2 good weeks. It's like we were talking about yesterday. He's had 2 good weeks. He's showing, like, right away, he's already shown in these past 2 weeks so much more than Bryce Young did throughout his entire NFL career so far. And that's, like, obviously a very short career, too. But he's already shown so much more.
Alexander, question, though.
Yeah.
Did Bryce Young show anything when he beat the Texans last year in Week 8 for his first win of the year?
No.
Dang.
No.
Okay. Curn, follow-up question for you, sir. And Timo, because you're a Saints fan as well. If the Saints end up at 2-8 here, or like 3-7, after that start where everyone thought they were going to the Super Bowl, is Dennis Allen not making it out of the season like we all thought before the year?
Man, I want him gone after this fucking game. Are you kidding me? Like,
yeah,
I want him launched
so we're still
into the sun.
Okay, cool. Do we want Kubiak as the interim coach?
I don't. So that's the hard part. Is like I don't see. I think he's gonna get scapegoated again. I think he's gonna the injury thing. Like we need to fire our medical department. Like DA is gonna get away with so many injuries. Blah 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 bullshit. And Mickey Loomis is for whatever reason sucking his dick right now. So I don't know. I would like to see him gone and Kubiak promoted, and then maybe we either move Kubiak because I think with a healthy offense, Kubiak would have probably been gone anyway. So I don't know if we keep him as an OC and go look for a new head coach, or if we just keep him as a head coach and then find a D coordinator. But point is, DA needs to be launched into the sun. Like the dude's just not a winner. He lays down when it gets hard. Not a fan. The defense was a calling card. In the last 3 weeks, it's looked like shit.
Giving up a 50 burger at home is unacceptable.
Yeah, giving up a 50 burger at home where you got Tampa Bay Bucks like Chris Godwin just bouncing off of Saints players like they don't have arms is not acceptable. The fans are probably going to stop coming to the games, and I think that's probably going to be when they let them go. I have tickets, just full transparency. I have tickets to the Atlanta game. I bought them after the second win when we beat the fuck out of Dallas. Sorry, we're probably not going to be monetized now, ANF. But I'm actively thinking about just selling those tickets. Like I don't want to see this product. It's hard.
The tickets tonight were. I think I saw tickets for like $110 in the lower bowl earlier when I looked. Javante's having a great game.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't start him though. Your running backs look promising that they're going to play.
But if Aaron Jones doesn't play this week, I want to retroactively put Javante in.
I'll only accept that if I retroactively beat you.
No, I can't do that. I'll probably sub Tracy in if he can't play. I mean, that's really the only move I got right now. Maybe Wilson. I don't know. We'll see. But
it does look promising that all your guys are going to play, though. Even Marv, which is shocking considering he had a concussion.
Yeah, Marv is so boomer bust right now. It's hard to be hyped for him playing. Arizona just looks broken, and I don't really understand it. I knew they were going to end up being bad, but I figured it would just be like kind of like Drew Brees and the Saints were all those years where we had an awful defense, but we were just putting up points left and right, and now it looks like they can't tie their shoes in Arizona. So,
well, at least they can't play defense, so the offense has to try and score.
Yeah, that's fair. But like you said, the Chargers this year have been real slow in time. So So we'll see. I think we got a good matchup, but I think it's going to end up coming down to our third one.
Wow, Jaleel
I think we'll split, and then the next week we play will be the deciding one.
It's interesting. But looking at Jack's got such a nice schedule. I feel like him and we'll see. The next few weeks are going to be very
crucial.
We'll make the playoff picture a lot more clear. Who is the 5 teams really fighting for the 4 spots? Maybe 6 teams, but right now it feels like we have about 7 or 8 teams that could, with a few good weeks.
Oh, you know who's got a tough week 14 as well is Jack. Well, it's not.
But I think
it's not that.
He's got a really nice matchup though, doesn't he?
I mean, it's against me, but he also has some problems week 14.
But it's his QB. You can find a QB.
I mean, it's my QB and a running back.
Sutton and Schultz. He subs in Jacoby Myers though, and he finds puts in Njoku. I mean, he's fine.
But you got to understand, I have Keenan Allen back, so
never forget that.
I can't believe you're such a Keenan Allen hater.
He is. Please, you just got to sell him. If you can sell him for something and get a better player, it's worth it.
What do you mean? He missed the first 3 weeks of the season practically. He went out in the beginning of the game week 1 and then missed weeks 2 and 3. He's not tradable. He's on bye this week. He's not a tradable asset.
Yeah, after his bye, an early bye makes any player tradable. Right now, someone will see Keenan and be like, "Wow."
Let me ask this, Lippy, do you want to trade for Keenan Allen?
I would rather not trade for him. Correct.
Okay. Wow.
Keenan's there for vibes.
That's right.
Keenan is definitely there for vibes. He's a locker room
leader. He's a locker room leader.
Yeah. Which doesn't help you for fantasy, but if you're a Bears fan, it's cool, I guess.
Which I'm not.
Yeah.
But I do have a Bears jersey actually. So I mean, who knows?
That jersey.
Gotta love the Urlacher jersey. It's such a close.
Oh my god! Oh, that was so close. Little Jordan.
Yep. Little JoJo.
Yeah. They should. You know what? My takeaway from this game is that every team should put their stadium's elevation on the front of their helmets. Everyone will just have a different number on the front of their helmet. It'll be however high up their stadium is above or below. Wow, the Saints would have a negative number, right? Isn't it below sea level? That'd be so unique. They'd have a negative number on the front of their helmets. Wow. Or maybe theirs goes on the back. Wow. Who knows?
ANF, I gotta be honest. It's a terrible idea, and the Broncos shouldn't even have the number on the front of their helmets.
It is ridiculous.
I don't know.
It is ridiculous that they have it on the front of their helmets. What are they doing?
It looks very dumb.
What are they doing? What a silly organization. What a silly organization. What? Oh my goodness. Let's see here. I'm trying to think. Let's see here. I had a few more questions about players. And now that Curn's gone, we can actually have true discourse and analysis. So, real quick here, let me ask you all So, I think a really interesting conversation is the David Montgomery and the Gibbs question. So, obviously, Montgomery has had a great start to the season, and Gibbs has had a good season as well. It's not that Gibbs has been terrible, but what do you guys think about those two going forward? Who would you rather have, and do you see this current trend continuing?
How can anyone right now rank Montgomery at least not even at worst with Gibbs if you were to do any type of rankings, if not ahead?
I agree.
I mean, if anything, Monty, from what I've seen, looked better than Gibbs. I mean, Gibbs looks good, but Monty's the one getting all of the carries, it feels like. Every time they run the ball, it feels like Five's got the ball in his hands.
And that's the thing. I'm just looking at his chart right now. He cracked 50% snap share once. The rest has been he's had 3 games under 40 or at 40 or less.
I did not expect them to run the ball as much as they have. It reminds me a lot of whenever Mark and Kamara were in the backfield together. Like, it's almost the same exact offense.
Yeah.
But yeah, as of right now, I'd probably put Monty up there. He gets the goal line work for the most part.
Nope. That's fair. It really is because I mean Ingram just scored all those touchdowns every time. He had that one year he pretty much scored every single week. It felt like.
Yeah. And then, man, that passing offense is so good, but so frustrating. It really is starting to feel like, again, just anecdotal, but like feels like when the Saints Drew was throwing touchdowns to like 4 different people a week, and you couldn't choose the right one ever. But like as long as you had Drew, you felt good. Like Amon Ra, he's down. He's still playing well, but he's not what you drafted him at.
It feels like, and I was considering it this week for about 2 seconds, and then I realized that would be dumb to do. But at the same time, it feels like when they get close, they're just going to run the ball in. Inside the 7, they're running that ball in. And I mean, if I dropped Goff right now, I don't think Goff goes for more than like 15 fab.
Yeah, but in the NFL, he goes for $2 gazillion in the offseason, and we're told it's a great contract by certain individuals in the group me who don't need to be named. And same thing happens to T-Law. It's just what.
It's gonna be a very telling week this week with them and the Vikings. That's a hell of a game.
I think I'm gonna start Alan Lazard.
That. Do you want Jordan Addison back?
I mean, yeah. Do you want Alan Lazard?
I don't think I do. That is disgusting.
Oh, come on.
He's the wide receiver 8, Lippy. Do you want the wide receiver 8? He's better than Garrett Wilson. Wait, he's better than a lot of people. Who's he better than? Look at all this.
Everybody.
Look at all of this.
You can't start Alan Lazard. You can't start Alan Lazard.
He's better than CeeDee Lamb. He's better than Neighbors. He's better than Mike Evans, dude. Come on, tell me you don't want Alan Lazard after hearing that.
I don't think I do.
He's only 40 yards behind Garrett Wilson on almost 30 less targets. I mean, how do you not want that player? I am kind of surprised that Garrett Wilson is wide receiver 9, but I guess he does also have, let me just double check. Yes, the most targets in the NFL by 11.
Yeah, but that's also from the last 2 weeks, right? Like he's gotten 20 points the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, it was week 5 when he did get 23 fucking targets, but he's had 6 targets or more every single week. So I mean, he's always getting the targets.
Kamara with 5 receptions for 11 yards is wild.
Yeah, well, our offensive line and defense as a whole looks like Swiss cheese at the moment. So.
At least this ref got a little pump at halftime to keep the veins looking good for the camera.
The highlight of the game is the ref.
How do I get Addison back on my team? I like Jordan Addison.
We can talk about that. I really don't know how though.
Okay. I just
make it happen.
I just want to let you know, I will trade you Alan Lazard and Jalen Tolbert. I will do that for you.
Wow, so if you want Ray McLeod, I'll give you Ray for Jalen.
Don't tempt me. Why? So let me ask this: when Peyton came back to Indianapolis, he got booed, which I think is insane. As an AFC South fan, that boggled my mind that they booed Peyton when he came back to Indianapolis after the Colts fucking cut him, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm curious, as you know, this is like a Breeze night thing. And it is different, right? Because he never went to another team. But the Sean Payton thing, it didn't seem like he got booed when he came into the stadium today. And here he is coaching another team.
ANF, this is the part where I remind you, when Andrew Luck retired and it got leaked before he got off that field,
they booed him off the field. They booed him off the field. It just
might be the Indianapolis fans.
They are a bunch of classless fucks. I can't stand those guys, those Gary, Indiana inbred fucks. But
Flip it.
Yeah, clip it. Feel free, all you people in Indiana, you dumb fucks.
We have a lot of Indiana listeners that are not
that's
too happy.
really a big hub for us. No, but I guess I just wonder like why, because like that's something that I would expect to happen in like Philadelphia, but even then I don't know if did Foles go anywhere else after, like he did, right? Did he go to Jacksonville?
Yes.
And then he went to Chicago.
He bounced around, and then I think
Indianapolis,
didn't he finish in Philly?
I don't know.
He might have had Indianapolis in there too. He was.
I know he bounced around after the Super Bowl.
But like I wouldn't imagine that they would even the Philly fans would boo Nick Foles, who, I'm not trying to dismiss
they cheered
how
him when he came back.
Yeah, exactly. Like it just make it. I was just thinking about how shitty, because I can't believe they booed Peyton. That's bizarro world. And then to boo Luck during the preseason as he's retiring. I mean, that's, come on now. If you need to know who the bad guys are in this division, it's right there.
To go back to it with Sean, it's I don't know, man. It's kind of hard because like he did straight up quit on the organization and gave us the bird and was like, "I'm gonna go commentate for a year and then be Denver's head coach."
Yeah.
But we got draft picks out of it. He did win us a Super Bowl. He was our coach for a long ass time. Like, I have no hate for Sean other than the way he left. But he's doing us a solid tonight. You know, beat the fuck out of us. Get DA fired.
He's gone. Nix is gone.
Look at Bo Nix. Look at Bo Nix.
Oh, he tripped on. Oh, now it's Javonte time. That's like 80 yards rushing.
If anybody listens to this past podcast later, Javonte is on the block.
Javonte Williams is on the trade block. So I guess I don't know. I've been thinking about that a lot because there's been, there's so many players moving around, and one of the things I hate the most is calling like for revenge games when there's no animosity at all, like in the slightest, and the players are like all like high-fiving and dapping each other up.
Buddy.
Yeah, exactly. It really, but there does seem to be some possible actual revenge games coming up, in the future with players that don't have good feelings about their former teams. So anyway, I was just thinking about all of that.
But see, the thing is, like, Diggs said how much it meant for him getting his revenge game against the Bills.
Oh, I mean,
he said everyone knew it.
And all the players were saying we had to do that for Diggs, but a lot of times, a lot of times,
that side eye for Allen at the end of it.
Oh, it's incredible.
It's a little bit out of context, but yes, that was very funny. But like most of the time, that stuff isn't said, and it's just like, oh, revenge game for XYZ, and it. But no, like Diggs definitely wanted to win that game. Multiple players said in their press conference, like, yeah, we got to go out and do this for Stephon and stuff like that. But anyway, let me ask real quick. We have kind of a developing, and I'm going to ask Timo this. I'm not going to ask Lippy this. No offense, we've just been talking about how bad the Saints are, and Curn messaged when he got off that as you were starting to discuss the Saints, he's echoing everything you're saying, but he has to go. So I'm curious, Timo, as we are going into week 7 of the season, we're into the last bits of this Thursday night football game of week 7. What are your thoughts on the kind of playoff picture as a whole for the NFL, and what's your Super Bowl prediction as of now?
Well, I think right now it's very hard, as much as they don't look like a great offense. It's so hard to bet against the Chiefs. I think fair. Even, it kind of feels, the AFC kind of feels the same way it did last year, where like Lamar might end up clinching MVP for the 3rd time and then still lose to the Chiefs in the playoff. And then from the NFC, shit, the 49ers, they got to turn it around, right? Like, everybody's starting to get healthy again, but it kind of feels like it's almost too late. Pack looked good. I think Darnold comes back down to earth. I think I said it last time. Like, he's averaging like 10% of his passes are touchdowns, and that's just not sustainable. But I think they're in the running. That it looks like Super Bowl's probably, or at least for the NFC, might run through the NFC North this year. All those teams look good, especially with the Bears starting to turn it around. So I guess if I had to choose, Lippy might enjoy this. I think I'd go Chiefs Packers Super Bowl right now.
Oh, a little Super Bowl I rematch. People love picking that. It would be fantastic.
Yeah. Now, I mean, we know how the Chiefs round into form during the playoffs, so I don't know. I don't know if I would want to be playing them in the Super Bowl, given that you also have to play the refs and Taylor Swift. But I think the way Jordan Love's playing right now, he's definitely in the running for MVP. I think Darnold's in the running for MVP.
A Darnold MVP would be very cool. Granted, it would mean the Vikings are probably 15-2 or whatever, but that would just be awesome for him after everything he's been through.
He can't.
He can't win comeback player of the year. That's crazy. What's that kickoff?
Yeah. Wow. But on that note, the wife is home, so I have to go.
I was going to say, this is a great time to end. Gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. Thank you for being on the pod.